Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Ezekiel Elliott wants to be more involved in Cowboys' run game. Ezekiel Elliott doesn't want to make a big deal out of the lack of playing time in his return to Dallas. Elliott told reporters on Thursday that he's had discussions with coaches about his lack of totes, but isn't trying to be a squeaky wheel. "I've talked a little bit to the coaches," Elliott said via the Dallas Morning News. "But kinda let it play itself out." Elliott started Week 1 and took 10 carries for 40 yards and a TD in the win over Cleveland. In the 4 games since, he's not seen more than 6 carries, averaging 2.9 yards per tote. He's played fewer than 30 snaps a game in the past 4 contests, including 23 in the Week 5 sloppy win in Pittsburgh. Rico Dowdle has shown more pop in the run game and has gotten the bulk of the carries. He earned a career-high 20 carries for 87 yards on Sunday night. Elliott noted that he wants to be more involved in the red zone and short yardage situations where the Cowboys have struggled but wasn't sure why he remained on the sideline. "It's definitely a little different, but keep your head down," he said. After being released last year, the former first-round pick spent 2023 in New England. He generated career lows with 652 yards on 184 carries and 3 touchdowns, while averaging 3.5 yards per attempt with the Patriots. His return to Dallas in 2024 hasn't been the sort of reunion the 29-year-old hoped. "I just focus on being a good teammate," Elliott said. "I've been focusing on continuing to help lead this team, and I'm not making it about me, it's about this football team winning football games." Things aren't looking more promising for Zeke or any of the Cowboys' backs heading into Week 7 against Detroit. The Lions have allowed 90.8 rush yards per game in 2024, 4th best in the NFL, with teams testing their rush defense with just 20.8 carries per tilt, 3rd fewest. With the Lions' pass defense getting picked on at times, Sunday projects as another pass-heavy load for Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Did the Cowboys' next man-up mentality work? The Dallas Cowboys' next man-up mentality was in full effect in their last game. Did it work? All fans know that the Cowboys' front office likes to add players from the practice squad to the active roster. It is a good idea if the players have the talent to help out. On both sides of the ball, players were moved up from the practice squad due to injuries to key players. A few of these players held their own and showed they belonged on the field. Let's examine both sides of the ball and see how the players stepped in when critical players were absent. The Dallas Cowboys offense held its own against one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense came into the game ranked number 1 in almost every category. The Dallas Cowboys offense has been decent passing, but rushing the ball has been one of the worst in the league. Fans know Dak Prescott can pass the ball, and he did well enough to take over the game and pull out the win. Dak Prescott helped win the game behind a patchwork offensive line. Patchwork or not, the offensive line held its own against a great defensive line and had their best game of the year. The Cowboys' offensive line had to be shuffled around when Tyler Guyton went down with an injury in the second quarter. Tyler Smith was moved from left guard to left tackle to fill the left tackle position, and TJ Bass got the call at left guard. This move proved to be the right one. The Dallas Cowboys' lackluster running game had its best day of the young season. Cowboys trade pitch would add projected $99 million playmaker. Maybe the Cowboys found themselves their number 2 wide receiver behind CeeDee Lamb last week against Pittsburgh, when Jalen Tolbert stepped up and caught the game-winning touchdown pass from quarterback Dak Prescott to seal a 20-17 win. Tolbert finished the night with 87 yards and a touchdown on 7 catches. It was the best game of his career, and the result of his hard work matched with the Cowboys' patience in his development. Tolbert has 247 receiving yards this year, nearly double the 280 yards he had in his career before this season. Still, the receiving core is thin once you get past Lamb and Tolbert, with Brandon Cooks dealing with a knee injury and a subsequent infection. Cavonte Turpin is the number 3 receiver, and the Cowboys could have to turn to rookie Ryan Flournoy if there is an injury. The Cowboys can't count on a return of Cooks to full strength this year, and if they're serious about remaining in contention, they'll clearly need to give Prescott more offensive weapons. With that in mind, the folks at Bleacher Report suggest the Cowboys are a potential trade landing spot for one of the better receivers who could hit the block in the coming weeks, and no, it's no Davante Adams. It's Bengals star T. Higgins. Higgins, no doubt, would be a sought-after commodity if he were to hit the trade block. With Cincinnati having bungled its way to a 1-4 start, that is looking increasingly possible. Higgins is a free agent this offseason, and given his price tag, $21 million this year, with an estimated market value of $99 million over 4 years, according to SpotTrack, the Bengals can't afford to keep both him and WR1 Jamar Chase. The Cowboys could benefit. A trade proposal of a third-rounder for Higgins might be enough to get the Bengals to cash out on him. Cincinnati could be back to .500 by the trade deadline, and if it is, Higgins won't be going anywhere. He looked fully healthy in Sunday's loss to the Baltimore Ravens and finished with 9 catches for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. If the Bengals continue to blow games, however, Higgins would be a logical trade commodity because he's set to be a free agent in the spring, B/R's Christopher Knox wrote this week. Higgins is a high-end number 2 receiver who should draw a fair return, even in a market that could be flooded with receiver talent. Logical suitors include the Kansas City Chiefs, who recently placed Rashee Rice on injured reserve, and the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas may have salvaged its season with a much-needed win over the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday night, and it could use a strong complement to CeeDee Lamb on the perimeter. The Cowboys are reluctant when it comes to adding players at the league's trade deadline, which falls on November 5 this season. That's been a frustrating reality for fans of the team, especially as the Cowboys cry poverty when it comes to making additions. With Higgins' price tag being what it is, the Cowboys will probably pass on him, no matter how much sense he makes. That means the team will focus on Tolbert's development. He surely misses Cooks, who was one of his biggest backers on the team and had been hyping up Tolbert all offseason. Tolbert said Cooks had a message before his departure. "He just told me to be me," Tolbert said, via the Dallas Morning News. "So get ready for the game, and he knows what type of player that I'm capable of being. He knows what I'm made of, and he's looking forward to me going out there and getting opportunity." And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of T. Higgins? Leave your opinion in the comments.